Hello, everybody. This is the good old Ceylon broadcasting, from Mexico City, from RadioUTA.com. And also, okay, we're in Broken Neck Radio, broadcasting from Canada. And today, well, I'm really, really happy because we got a star, a really, really star. But who do we have here?
Laura Lynch.
Tara Lynch. Really, really, we're really happy of having you here.
Thank you.
Guitarra, right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's what they call me.
Yeah, guitar. Because I mean, for example, okay, so well, I know that you play a lot in Europe, you play a lot in the United States, but for example, in Mexico City. Well, in Mexico, I don't know. Are there any plans to play in Mexico City soon?
Not yet, but I'm open to it. I just I haven't made it there yet. It's just by chance. Where I've been is where I've been invited. So, I haven't been invited down there yet or found a tour that makes sense down there yet, but I definitely will do that.
Yes, of course. And this is a good opportunity, for example, that we want to take because there is a lot of talent. For example, if you see Europe, there are a lot of really, really good bands. For example, like you, I was really a fan when I saw your video Antidote, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, I really want to have her in my program. But let's talk a little bit about Tara Lynch, because I can see here that, well, you have been playing with a lot of people. For example, with Vinny Appice, Tony McAlpine, Phil Sosa. I mean, who have you been playing with?
Well, I mean, I had a lot of guests on my record. So you've got, like you said, Vinny Appice, you got Tony McAlpine, um, Glenn Sobel from Alice Cooper. You've got Bjorn England. You've got Mark Bowles. Did a couple of guest vocals. Brent Woods produces everything I do. He's magnificent. My ears of steel, you know, and Phil Susan. Yeah, lots of people, and I've also studied a bit with people like Steve Vai and Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers and stuff like that because I play a lot of instruments. So
Yeah, that is the thing that I see. I mean, not only do you play guitar, but you also play, well, you play a lot of instruments. For example, you play piano, you play drums. I mean, you play bass, for example. So how does it work, for example, with you? I mean, trying to find all these important people playing in your albums. Do you call them? Do they call you, or do you meet them while
I
you're
call
touring?
them. They're all my friends. So I just pick up the phone and call the guys individually, and I say, "Hey, I'm making a record, and here's the thought. Here are the songs that I would like you to play on. Have a listen. Tell me if you're interested." And they're like, "Hell yeah!" So that's how that happened. I mean, it's as easy as that.
They
So
played in your first city?
my first album, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what can you tell us about the first album? Well, you get a lot of musicians there, but what can you tell us about the first album? Are there some stories? Okay, so how it was? Why did you decide to create, for example, I mean, an album, but with your name instead of having like a group together?
Because it's just I'm a solo artist. So I write all the songs myself. And it's all my music. It's all about my life stories and things like that. It's very autobiographical, the record. And but I write all of the music and all of the lyrics myself without any collaboration of any kind. And then I play all of these instruments. Yes. And could I have recorded myself playing each instrument and done it all myself? Yeah. But why would I do that when I've got great friends that already work in the business that are phenomenally talented? And the thing is that you can only be an expert at one or two things, not all of it. So yes, I can play drums, but can I play like Vinny Appice? No. That's why he's on the record. Okay. I play all the guitars because that's my specialty. And I play the synths, Brent even played some synths as well. And but all the guitars, me only. So when Tony McAlpine is on my record, I call my friend and I say, "Listen, Tony, I know that you're a phenomenal guitar player, but you're a masterful pianist. The guy can play piano like nobody I've ever heard." So that's what I wanted him to do because I'm playing all the guitars on the record. So he doesn't play any guitar on the record, just keyboards. And he killed it. He gave me a couple of phenomenal solos on a couple of my instrumentals. Enigmatic was one of them, and Exit the Warrior is another one. And yeah, so the process is I write everything, and then here in my home studio, which is where I'm sitting right now, I've got my piano over there, my drums are over there, guitars everywhere, of course, my amps are on the walls behind me. And I record my demos here, and on the demos, I'm playing every instrument. Then I give those songs finished and I sing them all, and I give them to the guys to listen to. And I say, okay, learn this. And then we go into the studio and we actually record. That's how it works.
And what can you tell us about the first album, for example? How many CDs do you have?
Well, I have the first album, and then I've released a single. Badassery was the most recent release. COVID put like a stop in the middle of everything. So I've literally toured on that first album for 5 years. So finally I had to, and then COVID, of course, kind of killed the momentum for everybody. And we all had to take sort of a break, but I still played shows all the way up until COVID started. Right up until February of 2020, I was out on the road playing shows here in the US. And then by the end of that year, in 2021, by the end of 2021, I was back playing a festival that fall. So I've never, the album was released in 2018, and I played shows in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. And so I've spent 2023 and the beginning of this year getting ready to release my new material. So we've been in the recording studio. I'm going back tomorrow, in fact, and we're going to continue recording. And Vinny's playing drums again on this one. No Glenn, just Vinny this time. And he played on Badassery as well, the single I released last year. And I'm all the guitars again. And I may have Brent play some rhythms, just so we can get things released a little faster. And also he's just, a masterful rhythm player. So when I play live, I'm mostly playing lead anyway, because I play while I sing. I'm always just all over the place. I'm not just the chord type. So yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
Yeah, and well, for the people that don't know, for example, like Vinny Appice, well, he's a legend. I mean, Black Sabbath, Dio,
Oh
and
yeah.
Jesus Christ, I mean, he has been working.
Yeah.
But for example, I don't know, he played in your album, or all these people were playing in your album. But what about touring? I suppose that for touring, you needed some other musicians, or were they available, for example,
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
play with you?
There's absolutely no way for touring that would work, because Vinny is out, playing with Last in Line, and he does his Sabbath Nights thing. And, everybody is spread out everywhere doing their stuff. Tony does his, solo touring and et cetera. So everybody, Vinny Appice and Phil Soussan are in Last in Line. And so they're, I've opened for them a lot. I've toured with them plenty. So yeah, when I tour, and that's why I call it Tara Lynch, because the bottom line is, yes, I have these guys backing me up on my records, but it's my music that I write. These are my songs. I'm the one that's up front and center singing and playing them to you right in your face with all the leads and everything. And I have a list of guys that I take on the road with me, depending on where I'm touring, that back me up live. And so I could have a different lineup for each tour. But there are some guys that I use over and over that I love, that are my favorites, of course.
Yeah, and
So
well, that is interesting because, for example, as you were saying, I don't know if it is because, for example, okay, so well, this person is here and that, okay, because you're saving money, or why do you have like a different lineup? For example, is it because of saving, for
because I'm a
example?
solo artist, it's not a band.
Uh-huh.
My band. I'm a solo artist. That's why. So it's impossible to get everybody's touring schedules at the same time that I need to tour for myself, to have all of these guys available. They're off on their own tours at the same time. So, tours are seasonal. And as far as cost is concerned, absolutely. It costs a lot less to have other guys on the road with me. Every single day we're playing a show. I mean, with the last tour I just did in Europe, we played a whole month and maybe we had 2 days off. We were playing every night of the week, I can't afford, I love you, Vinny, baby, but I can't afford to pay him to play live every night of the week, you know,
Yeah, it's like for example, that is very
impossible. And
interesting.
it's not
Mhm,
necessary. It's not
mhm,
necessary. There are phenomenal drummers out there that, a guy that I love to tour with, my favorite drummer that I love to tour with, one of them, because I have a few, but Joe Lazarus is phenomenal. And he's played many shows with me. The guy is incredible. I love him. And he gives it his all. Noel Yasso, same thing. He kills it. I mean, these guys are fantastic and they deserve to be out there playing this music that I've written with such emotion and such verve, and it's just great, to tour with these different guys. And it really boils down to who's available when I need them for the shows I've booked for Tara Lynch.
mhm. Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
In fact, okay, so Dave Mustaine said it once, right? I mean, for example, Vinny Colaiuta was playing in one of my albums, but I cannot afford having Vinny Colaiuta in all the tour, right? It's like, uh-huh, but
There's
he's
no
already
way.
there. Uh-huh.
I'm too new for that. I'm not making that kind of money yet.
Okay. Well, okay, and let me tell you something. For example, as you're working with different musicians, okay, in every city, is it like because I suppose that they have like a lot of ideas. Say, what about if we change this or that? You
It's
say, no,
not
no,
in
no, no.
every city. It's not
Hmm.
in every city. It's each tour. So
Hmm.
when I tour, if I have a month-long tour, I have one lineup for the tour. I don't just use locals in each city. I don't, if that's what you're, no, 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 no. I have the same guys for each run, however long the run is. If it's a month, if it's a couple of weeks, if it's a cruise, if it's a festival, one lineup, and they go with me for the whole run. I don't change anybody out in the middle of the process. So I don't use locals. It has to do with if I'm touring in Europe, so Joe Lazarus, for example, he lives in England. So if I'm touring out in Europe, it's very easy to have Joe jump on that tour. Okay. Simon, my rhythm guitar player, same thing. He is in England. It's very easy to have him come and jump on a European tour. If I'm in America, then I've got Noel, for example, or Kevin, who could jump on a festival with me or jump on a US run with me for the whole run. So I use the same guys over and over again in different capacities depending on where we're playing. But I have my US guys and I have my European guys.
Yeah, which is much, much better because, for
Yeah.
example, I was telling you this because, for example, Paul Diano, when he comes to Mexico, or for example, Dave Evans, they go to Brazil, so they say,
Yeah.
hey, who's available? We need musicians that can play our songs and all that, and generally they use locals. Uh-huh.
They do. And I don't do. I use I use the guys that I've acquired in each, territory, for example, and take them for the whole run. Yeah, no, I'm never going to do the local for each. No.
Yeah, because I suppose that's like more difficult right now. Okay, let's
And
meet the
no, no,
guys
no,
and
no. Yeah, so we're a band when we tour. It's the Tara Lynch band. I mean, it's a band when we're touring, and so you've got to have the same guys night after night. I don't want different guys playing every night with all their different styles and all their different. I no, 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 no. We go. So I book a tour. We go into rehearsals. I make sure everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then we go out and we do the tour.
yeah, that is excellent. That is a really, really good way of working, and that is what really is interesting. For example, in all these interviews, because we want to know how people work and how it works, and
Yeah.
yeah, everybody works in a different way, so it's like really,
Everybody
really interesting.
does. And I definitely work differently than everybody. So I'm sort of carving my own path. I've been doing it my own way on my own label and on my own steam. I'm not signed to a major label yet or anything like that. I don't know if I ever will be. And that remains to be seen. Somebody would have to make me an offer I can't refuse.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and that is very interesting because I suppose with your talents, okay, yeah, I don't know if somebody has gotten in touch with you and said, hey, what about Tara? What about if you record a music, or have you worked with some other people?
Yeah, yeah. I did some guest work on an album for a progressive band out in Belgium called Beyond the Labyrinth. And recently I was called by a project, I'm going to call it, in Germany to do a guest spot on a song, which I'm going to be doing. And I'll do stuff like that, sure. But as far as playing in other bands, never, never have, never will. Um, you know, unless Metallica needs me out, no problem.
Yes, of course. Okay, and well, let me tell you. Well, let's talk about the first album. Okay, so how did it go? Okay, so what about talking about sales? Okay, did it work? Well, first of all, where can we find some songs? I know that there are videos, right? I mean, you got Antidote. Are there some other videos from from this first
There's
album?
so I released one single from the first record, and I'm an independent, so I don't have the budget to do what a large label does. So there was one single, Antidote, from the first record, a proper video for that, obviously. And then subsequent to that, we did a lyric video for Banished from My Kingdom, which is another track off of that record. And uh outside of that, that's pretty much it. And then there's a lot of live clips online that you can find that fans have uploaded and stuff from shows, around the Europe and America. And put out a video for Badassery, the new single I released last year. That's more documentary style, a lot of road footage. The song's about my love for the racetrack, which is what I do when I'm not playing guitar. So, you can see me racing my cars and on the road playing my guitar. That's what the song is about. And so we decided to go documentary style for that one. And, it worked. It's good. So, yeah, that's pretty much, you know.
Okay. No, yeah, yes, and that is really good. At you, not only do you play guitar, but also okay, so well, you got something else, right? I mean, some other passion. But what about the first one? Okay, so is it available, for example, if we want to buy the record? I mean, physically
Oh,
or
yeah. Just go to taralynch.com. You can buy it right from my website. Absolutely. You can get it on amazon.com as well. You can, so you can purchase it or stream it wherever music is sold or streamed. It's everywhere. It's on Spotify, Pandora, it's on Deezer and Apple Music, everywhere. So you can, if you want an actual physical CD, you would get that off of my website or off of Amazon, I think.
yeah. Yes, exactly. Because not only can you find CDs, for example, I can see that there's a lot of merchandise, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what else can we find from Tara Lynch?
Well, on my store, you just go to my website, taralynch.com, go to store, and you'll see the physical CD. There's also signed copies available. I've got posters and T-shirts and things like that that you can get. Some of them signed, some of them not. Some collectible things that are actually running out, and I have like very little supply left. Yeah, and I'd say get it now because that stuff's going to be gone pretty soon. I'm going to release uh the new album, and then there's going to be all new stuff with that as well.
Now, this, for example, okay, so Badassery, right? That is the new single.
Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
coming. Yeah, that's coming off the new album. Yes,
Okay, so first you decided to release the
the
single, and
single,
then mhm.
and then I'm going to release the album, and that song is on the album as well.
And what can you tell
That's
us
the
about
first
this new
single.
album? Mhm.
That's the first single from the new album. Well, the new album is going to be fantastic because when I wrote the songs for my first record, Evil Enough, I didn't intend to sing them myself. That sort of happened as an afterthought because I sang all the demos, and that's why Mark Bowles provides guest vocals on two songs, the title song Evil Enough and the song Trustless. And so those two were done. And then, they heard my demo for Banished from My Kingdom. And I show up at the studio, and Vinny flings the door open and says, "Tell me one reason why you're not singing on your own record." And that whole thing happened. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Well, they kind of ambushed me that day, and they were like, "You must sing on your own record." And I said, "I don't like my voice. What, are you kidding me? I'm a guitar player." And they're like, "No, you're a singer too." So I said, all right. I agreed to record Banished. I'd record my vocal. And if I liked the way it came out, then I'd do the rest. And it actually was good. So I said, okay. And I recorded the rest of the vocals for the record. So on that record, there are 6 vocal songs and 4 instrumentals. On the new record that's coming out, there's only 1 instrumental. All the rest are vocal songs. And the reason why this one is pretty freaking good, and the guys are very excited about being a part of it as well, because these are songs I wrote for myself to sing. So the delivery is even better. even more passionate. My voice, everything about it is just, you know, like the first record was a warm up, and this is like really good. Yeah.
Which is like really interesting because, for example, as you were telling me, were you thinking about somebody singing on your album? Okay, somebody different. I mean, you had all
Yes.
the musicians, but who did you want to participate in your album?
Well, I wanted Mark Bowles, and I actually wrote those two songs he sings on for his voice. Like particularly, I really wanted him on those tracks. So I already kind of, had that in my mind before I even asked him. And then, I called him up and went and saw him and talked to him, and we talked about it, and he's like, yeah, hell yeah, we'll do it. And so he came out to LA and did it because he lives in Vegas. So then for the other songs, I was thinking of people like, Jeff Tate and people like that I would ask and see if they would want to, participate. um Absolutely. But I didn't even get to that point before, Vinny and Phil and Brent came down on me like thunder about singing my own songs. And they were right to do that, because when I play live, I think it's a much better show. And I think that, I can tell you my fans really respond to the fact that I'm not just up there playing a guitar, big deal, but I'm singing the songs that I wrote anyway. I mean, these are my words, these are my melodies, these are my, it's me. So why wouldn't I deliver it myself like anybody else, like Eric Clapton or Lindsey Buckingham or any of these guys in music that write and sing their own stuff? Why not? So of
Yes,
course,
exactly. Mhm. Yeah, and if you let me tell, for example, it is easier, for example, for you, for somebody to see Tara Lynch, for example, singing her songs, yeah,
yes,
than to have different singers, for example, like a one in America. I mean, singing
yeah,
the
it
songs
would,
that you wrote. Uh-huh.
right, right. So everywhere I go, they get the Tara Lynch show because I am the show. It's my name, it's my songs. I am the show, and I always have world class musicians backing me up that can do a beautiful, beautiful job live. So it's always good. This last tour I did in Europe, actually, I went out with Vinnie Moore, and we used the same drummer and the same bass player. I had my guy Simon on rhythm, and that worked out interestingly well. But I don't know that I would do that again. I would probably still have my usual guys, but there was a scheduling conflict. So Joe was supposed to come on that tour, but then he had to go do a Twin Atlantic thing. So I decided, okay, let's share. And then of course that obviously made it cost less as well, which was good. It worked out better, but still, um, I'm always gonna have my guys with me, you know. So the usual guys that I have in each place, as long as they're willing to play with me.
No, yes, of course.
I've
And let
never
me
been told no. I've never been told no, not once.
no, that is incredible. And for example, talking about working with all these great musicians, because for
Yeah.
example, I mean, you took classes with Steve Vai, right? You have already worked with Vinnie Moore. You have, I mean, did they give you like some, hey, Tara, you should do this, you should do that, you should, okay, this is the way you should work, or
No one
yeah,
tells
didn't,
me what to do.
no.
No, no one tells me what to do. No one
But what
can.
about some recommendations, for example, like, hey, what about, I don't know, I mean, taking a class with Steve Vai or working with Vinnie Moore, I mean, don't you
No,
think
those
that's
things
something
I
you would
did
do? Mhm.
with Steve and with Chad and all that stuff. I did that stuff for fun, and I studied with them long before I even wrote the first record, long before I decided to go pro. So, I didn't decide to go pro until I went pro and put out my first record in 2018. So, that was a long time ago, but incredibly helpful and beneficial. But I was studying the instrument, not the business, so to speak. So, as far as the business is concerned, the only thing anyone's ever been able to tell me to do that I've actually done is sing on my own record.
Mhm.
Yeah. But as far as everything else, I'm definitely running my own show, and I'm definitely watching, learning, and all of this. But So far, what I've been told, particularly by people like Vinny Appice, is Vinny has said this on more than one occasion. He's never seen an artist start out the way I have. He's blown away by the way I started. He's never seen anybody enter this business the way I did, full steam and all. Like my first big tour, I'm on the road supporting UFO. You know, he's never seen that before.
Well,
Mhm.
and that is like real interesting because as you said, okay, so well, everything was like for fun, and now, okay, so well, you're touring with Vinnie Moore, you're opening for a UFO. I mean, you're working with Vinny Appice, you're working with all these great people. So how do you feel? I mean, going back, how do you see all these achievements, for example, that you have accomplished?
I'm proud of myself, definitely. And I think that as long as I keep my head on straight, uh, I'm good to go as long as I feel like doing it. Um, I'm in a situation where, I get to really pick and choose how I proceed, which is a good place to be. A lot of people don't have that ability to do that, but I do. And so it's basically going to be, as long as it makes me happy, I will continue. If it doesn't make me happy, I have no problem saying, all right, that's it. I'm out. You guys are just coming over for barbecue now, you know? but but so far so good. I don't think I've made any wrong turns yet. I think I've been pretty much doing it the right way. And as far as timing and things like that, uh I'll release things when I release things. I'll tour when I tour. I plan on touring extensively a lot. That's my favorite thing to do. I can write music all day and it just comes very naturally to me. I can record music, all of it, but getting out there and playing the shows is where I'm happiest, where I really love that process. And so I intend to be getting back out there and touring a lot. But this is the first break that I've had in 5 years to write and record again. So I'm doing it and it's going really well. And I'm very excited to get the new stuff out there. Badassery was just a taste, but the rest is like really next level. It's good.
And well, that is interesting because, for example, there are a lot of people that are complaining, hey, well, you know what, I need to have a different job, I need to do this, and I need to do that, for example, so that I can support this dream. Has
Yeah.
this happened to you, or for example, now you can say, you know what, Tara Lynch can afford playing here, playing there, going here, going there. I mean, for example, now I can see music as a business, as my career. I mean, how do you see that, for example?
No, it's definitely a business. It's definitely a career. And unfortunately, the way things are these days, it's a very, very, very expensive business that doesn't have a lot of payback because, streaming has killed our ability to sell records, for example. When I released Evil Enough, I had CDs flying out the door. They sold very well, the physical copies, but um, not enough to cover the cost of making the record. I mean that's I spent a lot of money making the record because I wanted something perfect. I wanted it to sound right. So, the same people that do that master Madonna and Lady Gaga mastered my record, Oasis. So, and Brent Woods, he works with Kiss and the Foo Fighters and all of these huge A-list bands. And so, I definitely want the best people working on my material because I feel it's good enough and it deserves it. Um, and so yeah, the cost is very significant, and touring costs a lot. Inflation has made a lot of people cancel tours and stuff like that because, you know, uh, after COVID, there are insurance issues, and then venues are trying to make their money back, and they're saying, "Hey, we want a piece of your merch now," and it's like, wait a minute, that's the last thing we're able to make any money at is the merchandise is pays for the tour. Like, what are you kidding? So yeah, that's all really tough. And I have to plan very carefully and make sure that things um work out so that at least I'm covering my costs. I mean, it's a labor of love. I love doing it. And if I'm at least covering my costs, I don't have to be making a big bundle. I worked my ass off and did very well before I did all of this. And so I'm able to ride this wave until it at least evens out or does anything so that I can go bigger.
Well, and for example, talking about music and talking about racing, for example, okay, so you're talking about two different careers. I suppose that these two careers are your passion, right? And sometimes you have to devote sometimes for racing and devote sometimes for music and all that. How do you
It's not a
organize yourself? Mhm.
Racing is not a career. That's a hobby. It's a very serious hobby, but it's a hobby. So I don't get paid for that. In fact, it's charity. I drive for charity and stuff like that. I don't get paid for it.
But
So
does it help you, for example, because for example, all these, for example, Alice Cooper, for example, okay, so well, he plays golf, for example, Biz Niels, racing and all that. And sometimes music can help them, maybe not, they cannot make a living, for example, by, I mean, with racing or with these sports, but music can sometimes attract people and get people. And does it help you?
uh does it help me to with the racing?
Aha, yes, for example, oh, you know what? Okay, Tara Lynch is going to be racing and all that. Okay, so,
Um, I mean, not really, because I was doing it before I ever put out a record. I was already racing first before I ever recorded an album. So already done that. I mean, so now it's just like an added bonus that I'm also in music, but it's not the reason I get a race. I get a race.
okay, well, in fact, okay, so well, it was a pleasure, really, really, Tara, okay, to talk to you. It was like really, really awesome, a
Thank
really
you.
interesting conversation. Now, tell us something, okay, so what are the plans in the future for Tara Lynch, for example, right now?
Okay, so right now we're in the recording studio and trying to get this record finished with everybody's crazy schedules. And once the record's done, then we're going to go ahead on, release it. I'll probably release another single, hopefully another video. And then I'll start playing tour dates. Hopefully, if I can get out on the road by this fall, otherwise it'll be in the beginning of 25.
Well, so thank you. So those are your plans, and what can you tell the people from Mexico City? I mean, for example, there are some people in Mexico City that maybe they don't know who you are, but we want to know. We want to show you. We want to show them. Okay, so who you are. What can you tell them?
Well, I can tell them just go to taralynch.com and read my bio. It says a lot. It tells you a lot about who I am. And go to my YouTube channel, which is Tara Lynch Official. Go to my Facebook page, which is also Tara Lynch Official page. But just Google me and you'll see all the articles and all of any videos anybody's put up and stuff like that, reviews, stuff like that. And you'll see it all. It's all there.
Have you taken into account, for example, okay, South America, Mexico, all these places below? Okay, so is that an important market for Tara Lynch?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I want to come down there and I want to tour down there. Absolutely. Yeah. I want to
Yeah.
play in I want to play in Mexico. I want to play in Brazil. I want to play down there. Yeah, absolutely. It's very important. Yeah.
Tara, so thank you very much again. Okay, so well, it was a pleasure being our magazine radio. Okay, so for example, Broken Neck Radio, okay, Radio UTA, that company has been a pleasure to talk to you. Okay, so well, I'm going to tag you, for example, okay, so that you can see the interview, so that you can listen to the program and everything. I'm going to edit everything. But what are your last words? Okay, so for the people in Mexico, people in Canada, for the people in South America.
My last words are do what you love. That's what I'm doing.
Exactly. And well, and
Run,
we
everybody. Keep music alive. Music
yes,
alive.
exactly. Yeah, and we're talking about a star. I mean, you have already listened to her story. You have already learned something if you don't know her. And thank you very much, Sarah. It was really,
Thank
really a
you.
pleasure. We're fans, and we really, really are looking forward to seeing you here in Mexico. And we really want to see your show. We want to see you live, and of course, we're going to be getting all your merchandise and your albums because you got fans. And if you nobody know, I mean, if somebody needs to know about you, okay, so now I'm really sure that they're going to know more from
Thank
Tara
you so
Lynch.
much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tara. So excellent day. Okay, so well, just the last question. Okay, so 49ers or Chiefs today?
I'm in California, so it's definitely the 49ers.
So
I
those
live
are going
in
to
California. That's my home team.
be okay.
I'm gonna go
So
eat
we're
some chicken wings, and I'm gonna watch that game.
okay. So we're going. Yes, I'm just going to finish the video and I'm going to go there. So thank you very much. Excellent day,
Okay,
and I'm going to tag you and everything. Okay.
perfect. Thank you so much.
Excellent day. Thank you very much, Tara.
All right, bye.